Hi, my name is Janet Massery Johnston. Welcome to the Mediterranean Gourmet Cooking Class and welcome to my kitchen. And this is my kitchen. It's not a fake studio set. I've invited you in here today because I get so excited about this food. Although I've been eating it all my life, I know it's a long time, I still get excited about it, and I know you will be too when we finish today. And I promise you, these dishes will be done in the traditional way, the authentic way, as passed on to me by my dear Lebanese mother, a great cook and a super lady. We'll be doing 7 different dishes today, starting from the appetizers and hors d'oeuvres through the dessert. Now, this is a menu that I have put together. The dishes are compatible with one another, but you don't have to make all the dishes together all the time. Use them separately and put them together with another menu that you have prepared or planned yourself. Now, we're going to start with hummus. Hummus batini. This is a garbanzo bean dip or an appetizer or a complement to your entree. You're going to love this. And the feta cheese and tomato appetizer or hors d'oeuvre is outstanding. I don't think you've had this before. I brought this recipe back with me from the Mediterranean on my last trip, and everyone's going to ask you for that recipe. Obviously, with this menu, we've got to have the all-time favorite, tabbouleh. And of course, another one of your favorites, rolled grape leaves, and we'll stuff them with rice and other good things. And the entree, heavenly baked eggplant. We'll stuff it with ground lamb and toasted pine nuts, and we'll serve it with rice pilaf on the side. You're going to love that. And the dessert, excellent dessert. Not too fattening, not too rich, quick and easy to make. Now I know all of you are saying, gee, that sounds like a great menu, Jan, but it's so rich and fattening and so terrible for our bodies. It's really not. It's low in fat, low in cholesterol, high in fiber, some of it, and we'll be using very little red meat. So come on into my kitchen and let's start cooking. We'll start with hummus, and I'll be right back. Oh, and reserve 4 or 5 of the beans for a little garnish later. 1/2 cup tahini, 3/4 cup lemon juice, approximately 1/8 cup water, and 1 small clove of garlic. And we will be talking about tahini later if you're not familiar with this. Now, the first thing we're going to do is take a small clove of garlic, and I'm going to mash it with about 1/2 teaspoon or so of salt. Get it mashed well, and then I'm going to add it to my garbanzo beans. Now, if you prefer garlic powder, that's fine. You can add a dash or 2 of garlic powder instead of the fresh. Now, the garbanzo beans, before I put them in the food processor, I rinsed them and drained them well. And I'm going to give them a little start here now before I add the rest of the ingredients. But when I make this, I can't help but think about the way my mother used to make it. She'd boil the garbanzo beans, and she had this big wooden bowl. And she'd get this big wooden masher, and I'm so glad I kept this thing, this very same masher. And she'd mash the beans in the bowl with the garlic. She used to use this a lot for garlic. My poor sister Helen used to say to us, I want to know why our mashed potatoes always have to taste like garlic. Still smells of garlic. Now we know. Anyway, back to business. Now I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients. We've got the lemon juice and the tahini, which is a wonderful tasting stuff. It's made of toasted sesame seeds. You can get it in your Mediterranean market or your international market or your Middle Eastern market. Do store it upside down, however, because it tends to separate, and stir it well before you add it to your ingredients. Now, you're going to get a consistency here that's going to look very difficult. You're going to say, oh my gosh, what has she done to me, this woman? It's paste. No, it's cement. It's horrible. Just give me a chance now. We are going to get a wonderful consistency if we're very careful with this hummus. You don't want thick hummus, and you don't want runny hummus. We're going to smooth it out here. Now, if you don't have a food processor to puree this, you can use a food mill or a sieve or a blender. Now, if your machine isn't as powerful as this, you may want to add more water. I am adding 1/8 of a cup of water, and you're going to see the consistency that hummus should be in just a second. I'm going to let this go a little bit now, and then we'll check it. Oh, it's beautiful hummus. Wonderful hummus. You're going to love it. All right, I'm going to go get the bread out of the oven, and I'll be right back, and I'll show you how to eat it. And here we have out of the oven a wonderful low-calorie chip. No fat, no cholesterol. I took the pita bread, or the pocket bread as some of you call it, and I cut it into bite-sized pieces. Open the bread because you don't want that double thickness. Put it on an ungreased cookie sheet. 425 for 5 minutes should be plenty. You want a nice golden brown chip. And of course in the microwave, maybe 2 or 3 minutes on high should be plenty. And it's a great chip to dip with the hummus, or of course any other dip that you may be serving. Now let's look at this beautiful, oh, try to keep it off the body, Janet. All right. Now we have this beautiful hummus. Oh, that's the consistency that you want the hummus to be. A wonderful, smooth, creamy, oh, like mashed potatoes. Of course, we'll leave the garlic out for my dear sister Helen. There you have. Now let's garnish it with a little bit of the reserved garbanzo beans and some parsley, of course. A little bit of paprika. A little bit of cayenne if you like the hot, spicy. And a drizzle of olive oil. There. Just a bit, not too much. Skip the olive oil if you're dieting. And there we have this beautiful, look at that, wonderful hummus. Now let's taste it with the bread. Here is a little scoop or a little spoon or a little shovel I have made out of the pita bread. And this is the traditional way. Oh, I wish you could taste it. Great hummus. Be right back. For the feta cheese and tomato appetizer are a 1/2 pound of feta cheese, which is a hard Greek cheese that I have used here, 2 cups of finely chopped tomato, 2 tablespoons of finely minced onion, 1 tablespoon of thyme, which I recommend you get from your international market, 1/4 cup of olive oil, and we'll be eating it with our pita bread. And I'll show you how to do that when we make it. Now the feta cheese and tomato appetizer is a great last minute thing to do. It's a quick dish. It's the quickest thing we're going to do today. Mix your ingredients all together, with the exception of the olive oil. Now I crumbled the feta cheese. Do get the hard Greek cheese. If it's too hard, you're going to have to cut it instead of crumble it. Tomato and the onion. Now I'm adding the thyme. Mix this all together. Just before your guests arrive, drizzle it with the olive oil. Chill it first. Then add the olive oil. Toss. And you have got a really interesting, different appetizer or hors d'oeuvre. Now I'm going to show you how we do it with let's get rid of that serving spoon. Serve it with a little, a small spoon for your guests to scoop it on there. There. Enough? Probably too much, but then I have never been accused of having a small mouth. I'll taste. Outstanding. Sorry about that. You're going to enjoy this. I'll be right back. Now the ingredients for the rolled grape leaves are 1 8-ounce jar of grape leaves, and this is the 8-ounce size jar. The recipe that we're using today is for this size, and I did count the grape leaves for you. In my jar it had 32 leaves, and of course it will vary a little bit. And the other size jars, of course, are available in other brands and other sizes. Now let's see, 1/4 cup olive oil, 1 cup chopped onion, 1 large tomato chopped, 1 cup rice, 1/4 cup lemon juice, 1 15.5-ounce can garbanzo beans, finely chopped, 1 cup finely chopped parsley, 1 tablespoon dried mint, and salt and pepper to taste. Now the grape leaves are wonderful little things to pop in your mouth as an hors d'oeuvre. Your guests will enjoy it with a glass of wine before dinner, or serve it as a side dish. Great, interesting little vegetable, something different. Oh, by the way, now there are 2 kinds of grape leaves. We are going to be making the ones today without meat. So these can be served room temperature or cold. I prefer to serve them room temperature. The hot ones we'll make another time. They should be served warm. Now, the first thing I did, I sauteed the onion and some olive oil for about 5 minutes, and then I added my rice, tomato, lemon juice, salt, and pepper. I cooked that for about 5 minutes, and when it was finished cooking, I added the garbanzo beans, the parsley, and the mint. And there we have the stuffing for these great little rogue grape leaves. Now the grape leaves themselves, I took them out of the jar. I rinsed them off because they tend to be very salty. And I put them on a paper towel. Now the actual rolling of the grape leaves is really kind of a fun thing to do. Use about a tablespoon of rice. Fold them over like this on each end and just roll it. Look at that. Beautiful. Looks like a little cigar. That's what we called them when we were kids. Little cigars. Now, oh, by the way, if some of these grape leaves break, and they do, there'll be some in the jar that's broken. Some of them here are broken. Save those. Don't toss them out, because we're going to use them later to line the bottom of our pan, and keeps them from burning or sticking to the bottom of the pan. Now, I'm rolling another one here. Okay. Now, if it breaks or cracks, don't worry about it. Put another one on top of it. Look at that. It's not going to matter. It's going to taste just as good. There. You see? Let's do one more. Okay? About a tablespoon. All right. Get back in there. Okay, now we've got these wonderful little things ready to go in the pot. Now, all right, I've lined the bottom of the pan that we're going to cook the grape leaves in with the broken leaves I spoke to you about earlier, and that keeps them from sticking or burning. Now we have our beautiful grape leaves in this pot, stacked one layer one way, one layer the other way, and that keeps them intact, and they'll be more attractive when we unmold them if you stack them that way. Now I'm going to add the olive oil and the lemon juice and just a little bit of salt, because I don't like to add too much salt, because as I said, sometimes these grape leaves are a little bit salty. I'm going to cover them with a dish to hold them down. This keeps them from floating up to the top. I'm going to add the water, just enough water to cover the grape leaves. Don't fill the pot up with water, please. We're going to cover them, and we're going to simmer them for about 30 to 35 minutes. Now remember, we pre-cooked this rice, so they should be done in that length of time. Do check one, though. Take it out and make sure your rice is cooked before you assume that your grape leaves are done. I have to tell you a quick story now before we put these on the stove. True story. My cousin Grace was a young bride. She cooked her grape leaves. Cy came home from work. He had never seen grape leaves being cooked before. Lifted the top off the pot and sees this plate, and he says, "Oh boy, cooked plates." True story. I thought it was cute. Thought you'd enjoy that. Now, we're going to cook these, and I'll be back in 35 minutes, and we'll unmold them. Now the grape leaves are cooked. I took one out, I checked it, the rice is cooked, I know they're ready. I cooled them to room temperature. I drained any excess water. Now I'm going to take the plate out that we had on there to hold it down, and just like Jell-O, we're going to say a little prayer. You know, you've done it 100 times. And we're going to invert. Oh, I know it's going to be gorgeous. Beautiful. Look at those wonderful grape leaves. I'm taking off the leaves that we lined the bottom of the pan with. Oh, look at that. I'm going to garnish it with a little parsley and a little bit of tomato for color. And some lemons, just in case somebody wants a little lemon wedge. And there we have it. You did those beautiful grape leaves. Aren't they wonderful? Now the ingredients for tabbouleh salad are 6 cups of chopped parsley, coarsely chopped, 1/2 cup finely chopped green onion, 1 cup chopped fresh mint, finely chopped, and this is the mint that I want you to try to find this. You don't want peppermint. You want spearmint. And if you can't find this, then you can substitute 2 tablespoons of dried mint, although I do not recommend the dried. Now the burgal wheat, I'm going to talk to you about that later as we're cooking it, but I want you to see, this is the way it looks when you're going to pick it up from your market. And it does freeze well in your plastic container. 1.5 cups chopped tomato, 1/3 cup olive oil, 1/2 cup lemon juice, 1 teaspoon salt, and freshly ground pepper to taste. And you will need lettuce leaves. I prefer romaine lettuce, but any kind of lettuce leaf that you prefer is fine. And it is a must because we are going to eat the tabbouleh and serve it on a lettuce leaf. Now tabbouleh is my favorite dish. But before we get started on it today, I want to just talk to you about it for a minute because it's such an important part of a Lebanese meal. Now, traditionally, this dish is made for festive occasions. Now, I know my good friends are out there saying, come on, Jan, every time you eat, it's a festive occasion. Kidding aside, it really is a dish for happy times, and I have some wonderful memories of my mother making tabbouleh as a child. I can remember coming home from school and opening the door, and immediately I could smell the fresh mint and the parsley, and I'd say, oh, she's making tabbouleh. And I'd come into the kitchen, and so often she'd have her girlfriends and some aunts sitting around the kitchen table, and they'd have a mound of parsley and lots of fresh mint, and they'd be picking the mint and the parsley and laughing and talking and having a great time together. This, as a matter of fact, I heard recently was called a friendship salad. So make it for your friends, make it for your family, enjoy it, enjoy the Cuisinart that we have today. In the old days, no Cuisinart, they stood there and chopped for hours. Now the first thing I want to talk to you about is the burgal, or as commonly known to most of you as Bulgar wheat. Bulgar wheat you can buy in your international store or your Mediterranean store. When you shop for the tahini for your hummus, pick up some burgal. Now this comes in several grinds. This happens to be the fine grind, and this is what I prefer. There's the coarse, the extra fine, the extra coarse, several different grinds. Pick up the fine. Now to this, oh, by the way, you need to soak this for 20 minutes before you add anything to it. Cover it well with water, squeeze it dry after it has soaked, and then you're ready to add your other ingredients. Now I'm going to add the lemon juice and the olive oil, wonderful olive oil. Oh, I love to cook with olive oil. And of course, if you're on a diet, just cut back on the oil. If you're on a super diet, you're really serious about it, just cut the oil out entirely. But I don't have to talk to you about how healthful this dish is for you. High in fiber, great for the body. Okay, now I'm going to set this aside, and we'll get ready to do the tomatoes. Okay? Now the tomatoes should be a nice, small, diced tomato. Okay? Like this. Oh, I know a lot of people say, oh, tabbouleh, you're going to make tabbouleh? Boy, I'm not going to bother with that. Just invite me over when you make it. Honestly, it's not that much work. 6 cups of parsley, that's not so much. It's roughly 2 bunches of parsley. Takes you 5 minutes to wash it and dry it. And of course, with the food processor, you can do it in nothing flat. Okay, now I'm ready to add my ingredients to this parsley. This parsley, I want you to see this. Don't grind it too much, please. These powerful food processors, you know, a couple of turns is fine. If you grind it too much, I guarantee you're going to have parsley soup. Now this is coarsely ground parsley, finely ground mint, and finely ground green onion. Okay? Now, I'm going to add the burghul to it. Soaked up nicely, the olive oil and all the good things we did to that. Whoops, didn't add the salt. Salt, freshly ground pepper, several turns is good. Now, oh, look at that, beautiful, beautiful tabbouleh. Perfect. Oh. Try to keep it off the counter. Okay, now, look at that. Wonderful tabbouleh. Healthful, wonderful, delicious dish. Now I'm going to show you, get that off of there, show you the beautiful platter you will serve it on. Lettuce leaves. And now, the worst instruction of all. You have to know what's next. Just in case you don't know what the next instruction is, let me show you the tasting of the tabbouleh. Excellent tabbouleh. Wonderful. I wish you were here. Just like Chef Tell. Is that who it is? Chef Tell. I wish you were here. Delicious, wonderful, a festive dish. Make it for a happy occasion. Enjoy it. Let me know how you like it. I'll be right back with the eggplant.
Okay, go on to something else now. We got another ingredient. We got another thing.
But I didn't talk about the... Huh? Oh, because we're going to edit it?
Well, what are you going to do? You got enough.
Well, I didn't say how much, what kind size canned tomatoes.
Okay, this is all editing. No, your face is not in there. You put anything you want. All you got to do is get the picture. The picture's all right. Were you going to do anything else in the picture?
Oh. Now, I've browned the meat, and I want to show you what it looks like before we begin to stuff the eggplant. Nice and brown. You see that? Okay, it is important that your meat is nice and brown. Now, I salted this eggplant, and I patted it dry and got the liquid out of it. And before I put it in the oven to broil, I am brushing it with there. Okay, now, so you can see the browned eggplant, and this is what we are going to stuff our eggplant with. This one. Okay. Is it good so far? Meat. meat. More meat. Now I should be saying something like, now if you want to have, this is your entree and you want a little more meat on there, just go ahead and don't be afraid to load it up. This is their main course, so there we have it. Now we're going to put the tops on these. There's a top, and another 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 top. There. Now I'm going to go get the tomatoes. Now for the tomatoes. I put a large can of whole tomatoes in my food processor with a pinch of salt, pepper, a little bit of cinnamon, a dash of allspice, not too much, and I'm giving it 2 turns in the food processor is what I've done, and I am going to pour it over my wonderful little eggplant boats, sometimes we call them. Okay. I'm going to cover them with foil, and I'm going to bake them covered for 45 minutes at 375, and then I'm going to take the cover off, and I'm going to bake them about 20 minutes longer at 425. I'm going to put these in the oven, and then we'll get ready to make the rice. The ingredients for rice pilaf are 2 cups of long grain rice, 4 cups liquid. Now you can use water or stock. Chicken stock is what I prefer. 1/2 cup sweet butter. And this pasta is a fine pasta. It's called angel hair, or I have found in different parts of the country it's called different things. But get the finest pasta that you can. Approximately 1 cup is what I have used in this recipe. Now I'm going to break this pasta up into bite-sized pieces. The thinnest pasta, as I said, you can find. And I'm going to put it in with my melted butter. Now, when you melt the pasta in the butter, it should look like this. You want nice, I have browned this to a nice golden brown. You don't want to lose your pasta and have it blend in with the rice. Now, I'm going to add the rice, 2 cups rice, 4 cups liquid. Get it in there, mix it around, get all the butter, that nice beautiful butter all mixed well with your rice and your pasta. Now, 4 cups liquid, 2 to 1. 4 cups liquid, 2
Don't
cups.
stick your head in the frame.
All right. A little bit of salt. And there we have your rice pilaf. 20 minutes. We cooked the rice for 20 minutes. We're going to check it now and see how we did. Oh, it's great looking rice. This is rice pilaf that you want to do. Nice brown pasta. We browned it nicely, and oh, it's so beautiful with the rice here. Nice and fluffy in consistency. You don't want sticky rice pilaf. This is a great side dish with fish, chicken, or of course with our baked eggplant that we're doing today. I'll be right back with our next dish. The ingredients for Namuda dessert are 1/2 cup butter, preferably sweet butter, 1/2 cup sugar, 1 teaspoon vanilla, 2 eggs, 2 cups fine semolina, and this is semolina or farina, 1 teaspoon baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon baking soda, 3/4 cup plain yogurt, and blanched almonds. And for the syrup, which we'll be pouring on when we finish, 2 cups sugar, 1 1/2 cups water, and 1½ tablespoons lemon juice. Okay, this namuda is a wonderful dessert. Your friends are going to love it. It's quick for you to make, easy, and not too sweet. I really think you're going to enjoy this dessert. Now, like baking a cake, I creamed the butter and the sugar together, get it nice and fluffy, and add the vanilla to it, and add the eggs one at a time. And when you add your dry ingredients to this mixture, add it alternately with the yogurt. Oh, and by the way, please be sure to get the plain yogurt. Don't get the fruit at the bottom yogurt. It will not work. Yogurt, dry ingredients, fold it in, and then spread it on to your 8 by 12 baking tray. Now this mixture is not difficult, but you do need to work with it a little bit. And excuse me if I use my hands. I hope I'm not going to offend anybody, but you know, there are certain things that you just really need to use your hands to work with. I'm using a little bit of cool water here, not too much, just enough to make it easy to spread this dough into your pan. Now, when I have added when I have spread the dough into the pan properly here, try to get it smooth. Smooth it out a little bit. I'm not going to take the time right now to do it, but do smooth it out a little bit better than this. And get the dough off the hands. When you put your almonds on your cake, each portion should have 1 almond on it. You're either going to cut it in squares or diamonds, and each portion should have an almond, all right? And of course, when we bake it, the almonds will be nice and toasted. It's going to be wonderful. You're going to love it. We're going to bake it at 350 degrees for 30 minutes, and then we're going to add the syrup to it. I'll be right back. Okay, my timer tells me 30 minutes is up, and the namuda is a beautiful golden brown. That's the way you want your namuda to look. Now, while it's hot, you want to put your syrup that we have made out of 2 cups of sugar, 1.5 cups of water, a tablespoon of lemon juice, boil it for 10 minutes, cool it down. Make it a day ahead of time if you're going to be rushed. And while the cake is hot and the syrup is cool, pour it on there, and this hot namuda cake is going to absorb the syrup, and we'll come back and cut it into our portions. I thought it would be great, just for fun, to invite you into my dining room, put on a festive dress for the occasion, and take a look at what we did today. Let's look at the tabbouleh first. Look at that great tabbouleh. And we'll serve it on a lettuce leaf. And the grape leaves we rolled and stuffed with rice and good things. The pita bread we're going to serve with the hummus fettuccine or garbanzo bean dip. We toasted some more bread to dip with the hummus. We made the fettuccine tomato appetizer or hors d'oeuvre. And look at that beautiful eggplant we stuffed. And we've got the rice pilaf and the namuda dessert. Now, wasn't that fun? I hope you had as much fun today as I did. Make it with love, enjoy it, and I'll see you next time.